What's happening? Make sure my mic's working. Kyle Postlewaite, aka Malker, here at Big Kitty Games. It is a beautiful Wednesday morning. I'm just trying to wipe my glasses down here. They're a little foggy. These aren't prescription, these are just the Blu-ray cut guys. I have what am I? Farsighted? I can see close fine. I only really wear glasses for driving. I don't really have to. It's just safer if I do. Finished up mostly what I was working on yesterday. I think I'm just gonna take a quick look at it. I didn't really poke at it too much, give it a test. And now I want to expand the system to incorporate weather today. So we were mostly just working on those settings window programming. The reason for that being because I've added lots of new post-processing, anti-aliasing, this and that. There's actually one more setting that I did want to add in. I swear the grass looks too smooth. I was trying to mess with that earlier. Let's see if we can't do something about that quick here. Believe that is under terrains, microsplat data. We're looking at the microsplat large array, and I want it to go back to that time it was at. I guess I can go like that. Now I want it to move the time backwards just a little bit here. Was it? Did I go too far? I think I went too far. Yeah, right about there. And let's see if we can pause that. So, just that, you know, the normal strength there, I swear it's too low. These are the settings. Core, metallic. Probably don't want to be messing with this. Distance. Let's see, I'm using the anti-tile array, so I don't want to be using anti-tiling. Splats, anti-tile, per texture. We're looking at grass. Hey, stop nut. And I was messing with the normal strength here. If I turn that up, it does look better. Smoothness, I've already got all the way down. That would be smooth like water. And that's not what we want, but maybe there's a different setting here I'm looking for that I'm not as familiar with, like metallic or something like that. Let's try and mess with that, see what that does. The creator of Microsplat, super smart dude. I'm going to give it some frames. Pause it. So let's see here. If I turn metallic up, Inventory system, that's a big, wide open discussion, honestly. There's a lot of ways to do that. It does look a little better. Really, when it comes down to it, though, you're just talking about objects holding data. So all you really need is that data structure fleshed out properly. This really just isn't giving me the normal that I want it to have. I want it to be more like this up here. Maybe I should turn the anti-tile normal strength up. It's already up pretty high though. Anyway, for me, I've got an item which has all the possibilities. This has grown a lot over time. Might just need your item, in which case, more important is the inventory slot. So I've got an item in there. I've got the item amount, and then in game, these are the inventory slots. So if I click on one that's got nothing in it, it doesn't do anything. If I click on one that's got something in it, it's got that item and the item amount stored. And it's really just making stuff to make use of that data structure. So the UI looks at it and says, for example, this one's got 90 stone, so it draws a 90 down there. It looks at the item and it sees that the rarity is 3, so it draws this purple border around it, or whatever. It's really just getting that data structure set up how you need it. And then setting up containers for that. In my case, I'm using lists of those inventory slots. So this guy's 40. It's a collection of 40 inventory slots. So 40 item and item amounts. Good morning, Turbo. But that's how I went about it. There's lots of ways to go about building an inventory system. That's really the basic concept, though, is just to have a container and then things that deal with that data in different ways, whether it's a trade system or a backpack or whatever. So this is what I did yesterday. Added a bunch of these settings, made them all programmatic, whatever you want to call it. Actually closed the script up, but so these are all added when the game starts up. They don't actually exist prior. But we should be able to notice, for example, if I get kind of on a hill here, this guy's going to run at me sometime, so I'm just going to kill him. And let's say I turn volumetric clouds off. You see him disappear up there. I can turn the cloud quality down, and it is visibly changing. This is not updating, though. There's something to look at. Huh. What about this guy? Hard and soft. That guy works. Disabled, hard only, hard and soft. Medium, high, medium, 2, 4. Okay, but cloud quality isn't updating his text properly. So I'll look at that. Weather collision is working properly. Weather intensity does not look like it's working properly. How about the rest of these sliders? This one works fine. You can see the shadows left here going up and down. Do like to have a bit of shadow. Gamma is a very obvious one. So everything looks like it's looking fine. Grass density, some people like, some people don't. Grass distance, that looks like it was not loaded properly. Let's take a look at that. Turn you up to something like that. Tree render distance, I don't want to touch. Rest of this is probably fine. Yeah, I can see that visibly changing. These aren't one to start out with, though, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, the numbers aren't proper. These are proper, I think. No, those don't look proper either. Okay, so we still got a little something to work with here, I think. Stationary blending. Let's see, jitter spread. Well, now okay, let me go open them up here. I've got the default values all plugged in up here. Jitter spread 0.2, 0.95, 0.1. 0.2, 0.95, 0.95, 0.1 I guess I need to do. And this is 0.25 is how I set it up personally. These look like they're, well, not really. This should be 40. This should be 4. Huh. So some of this isn't quite setting itself up correctly. Looks like. It's working. It's not displaying the proper values on load though. So let's take a peek. So now they're all being loaded in with these guys. I guess really it's just I need to make sure that I'm setting them properly. So toggles vsync dot is on equals game settings dot vsync, like this. That one's set up. This one is not. This is floats. What do we call them? Input fields. Gamma dot value. What are we looking at? So yeah, this has a slider and an input field because it's a float. I think I will come back and do this later though, because this is kind of boring. Should be input field dot text equals game settings dot gamma dot to string. Hey Donna, thank you for the thank you. Glad your card got through. That's my Aunt Donna. We sent out just some random cards for fun here the other day. Glad you got that. How's it going? Not sure if you're watching or what. Got the birds chirping. The cats are all staring out the window. Well, 2 of them are sleeping. 2 of them are staring out the window. So we'd also need to do sliders of the gamma type dot value equals game settings dot gamma. That should set him up properly. One of them looked like he was set up a little funky there. But yeah, I'll double check all of those later, because that's kind of boring, and I did some pretty boring code yesterday. So what I really want to do today is rewrite this weather system. Let's go ahead and close these guys up for now. Time manager, I do want to leave that open. I want to add a day length setting. Settings UI, I'm going to leave you open over here so I go back to you later. And let's see, I think there is also, nope, is this all we need to work with? I think it is. Okay, so currently we just have a timer. When the timer goes off, we pick a new weather, and we've got a 2.5 chance to go stormy, 2.5 chance to go foggy, 10% chance to go rainy, 20% chance to go clear, and a 60% chance to go cloudy. That's all good and well. Then we give it a random time till the next weather. Problem with that is there's this is just like 8 presets, so they always look the same. If it's any one of those 8, they never mix, they never blend, and they change pretty sharply. So what I'm looking to do instead is actually grab a single Enviro Weather Prefab. So let's go ahead and create a reference for that guy. I don't know what he's called. Enviro Sky. No, let's see. Enviro Weather Prefab, I think is what he's called. And let's go ahead and, this is on a manager, so we can serialize that. So I can just click and drag it into the inspector. And we're going to start working with that. So let's just try and do some simple weather prefab. Yeah, here we go. Should be cloud settings. Okay, I guess it is the actual weather preset that's got all the stuff in it, huh? Let's take a peek at what those guys look like. So, for example, let's make a new one. We'll call it Cora Weather. And this is preset. Okay, so not the prefab. We want the Enviro preset. And he's got these cloud settings, general color settings, and different stuff. We're not going to be using all of it, but there's a lot we can get going in there. Weather preset dot, for example, cloud, yada yada. I'm going to have to, let's see. Let's make a list of stuff we want to mess with. Don't care about any of that. Clouds config probably has a bunch of stuff in it. Ambient sky color, intensity. Cloud type. It's a float. Coverage. Sounds like we want to be using it. Coverage type is a float. Density we definitely want to be working with. Yeah, I want to look at this instead. So, weather sky mod, weather light mod. If you look, and I think it's easier if I go into debug mode, so it doesn't have that, doesn't collapse those down every time. It still collapses the clouds config. That's a bit of a bummer. That's really what I want to look at and compare here. Let's do a snip of, this is clear skies. And this is going to be cloudy 4, which is pretty cloudy if I remember correctly. So, lots of stuff changing here. Like I say, the goal is going to be to have basically, we can set up a kind of cloudy. We can set up, or we can really just, we can set up a really cloudy sort of maximum number using these numbers. And then let the weather system pick somewhere in between that over time. So it's not just either here or it's here. It's got this long range of things that it shifts between. And it'll include wind and fog and rain and all of that into that. And the good thing about that is now that we've got our biome measuring system going on in player lighting here, changing our post-processing based on what biome we're in, we can use that to affect our weather as well. So we can have less rain in the desert, more snow in the mountains, etc. A bit complicated here though, let's be honest. Let's see. Ambient color intensity. Powder term intensity. Light absorption. Light step, light variance, density, that's a big one, base erosion. So this is all just cloud stuff that's used to generate those clouds. It's actually just a single shader, making them look all 3D and beautiful. Coverage type, cloud type, Raymarch step modifier, I don't think I need that. And then we've got flat cloud coverage. So there's actually 3 kinds of clouds if you've got the settings turned up. There's the flat clouds, there's the puffy clouds, and then there's the big marshmallow clouds, which are all different sets of clouds, but they look best when you mix them all together. Flat cloud absorption, flat cloud direct light intensity, flat cloud ambient light intensity, HG phase, I don't think I need that. Particle cloud layer 1 alpha, brightness and color power. Followed by layer 2. Alpha brightness and color power. And lastly, we've got cirrus cloud alpha and cirrus cloud coverage. And this looks like it's a lot, but really it's just numbers that the shader is going to be looking at. So changing little values like this is not actually going to consume performance. It's really just the shader and what level of difficulty you've got it set to. So, we've got all of these guys now. This is just the clouds. So let's go ahead and let's say, I could make a clear sky example and a storm example, and then move between those two settings based on, like, I don't really want to just randomize these completely. That could be interesting, and I'll probably try that. Let's actually just go ahead and do that for our first test. So one thing I want to do is I'm probably going to want to copy paste this a number of times. So I'm just going to leave a copy of it over here. And, well, let's see, we do want to, I don't really know what the range on all of these is. Let's see. So we'll work with our fake preset here so we don't mess anything up. This goes, let's just turn them all the way up for our test so we can get the whatever the maximum number for these guys is. Some of them are 100, some of them are 1. Alright, so here we're going to do equals 2, and I'm going to just copy that down onto everybody once. And let's see, this one's going to be 2. This one looks like he doesn't want to go all the way to 1. 1, 2, 1, 4. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. This is 2, 5. Let's see, I skipped ray march, right? Okay, 2, 5. Absorption, 10, 100, 2, and we skipped that guy. 1, 1, 5. 1, 1, 5, and 1, 1, 5. Okay, so these are our max numbers. So now let's just say that we pick a random number. And currently the Enviro is set up to switch between them slowly. So let's go ahead and let that recompile so we can mess with it. I'm going to now feed this into Enviro as our starting weather, and it'll stay that way because we're manually changing it. We've always been manually changing it. So if we don't manually change it, it's never going to change. So starting weather, where do I set that up? Well, I do actually do there's some code that's going to try and, here it is, load the saved weather and write that in. So I'm probably going to have to replace that anyway, but we'll come back and do that as necessary. So that'll be our starting weather. Let's go back to where we can start the game and start. And I'm going to now, I'm going to churn all of this stuff off. So we're not going to be picking new weathers. which is what all of this does. So we're not, well, and okay, so this is actually what gets called to load the weather. So if I turn all of this stuff off too, even though those calls will be coming in, they won't be triggered. So I'm just going to turn everything off for the moment. And these ones actually I can just blanket off like that, I believe. And these guys as well. No, that might get called by somebody. So in here is where we're going to want to do the magic. Not necessarily update. Let's go ahead and make a method for it. Void. Let's call it update weather. Ugh. Typing skills. So this will set it all to the max currently. Let's do something like, just do a simple timer, how about? Let's call it weather update timer equals, let's say 5 seconds. And we'll say if weather update timer is less than or equal to 0, then we want you to update the weather. Prior to that, we're going to do weather update timer minus equals time dot delta time. So this will just subtract from it how much time has passed since the last time it was called. And whenever we update the weather, we want to set the weather update timer back up to 5. So we're going to get a new weather every 5 seconds. Now, we don't want it to actually just set everything to the max every time. I'm going to copy and comment those out again so I have them, but I'm actually going to change them to be random range. And let's do 0 to 2. So I'm going to do a random range on all of these. Let's go ahead and just add a parentheses first onto everybody. I used to do this in high school for teachers that were bad at computers. They had a bunch of stuff they needed to input, and I would speed through it, and they were surprised that you can get good at using a keyboard. Sometimes the mouse does work a little better, though. Not always. So I'm just random ranging every time we call this method to go somewhere between the minimum and the maximum. And let's actually make all of these floats as well. And I can cheat a little bit by grabbing this and instead changing it to F that. Oh, and I have entire solution, so that slows it down a bit, but you can see that's a much faster way to do it. So every 5 seconds it should rewrite these to be something entirely new. We just need to feed onto that weather manager our preset, because we're not getting it via code anywhere. So weather manager, here he is. He's got an open slot for our preset. We'll put him in there. And I'm also going to turn the Enviro weather transition stuff up. So let's put this all back to 1. That will just make the changes almost instantaneously rather than shifting between them, so we can see what's going on. So this is going to be our first test of just completely randomizing all of those settings, which again I don't think is what we want to do. Well, and then, you know, the end goal of this is to get the biomes to be making better management of this. Settle down, Unity. Something broke. Settings UI. This has broken a number of times. Let's see, what did I change? I added some stuff there at the beginning. 170. I did just change that. Add float input fields gamma. Yeah, and we already we set, isn't this supposed to be doing what? Input field. We did that somewhere else. Yeah, here is actually set up for the toggles. We just didn't, we were supposed to put those in here, weren't we? Alright. Prior to putting the add listener would be nice as well. Which we did here, so that's good. So let's, prior to the delegate, let's do input field dot, yeah, I don't have to go through these manually, I forgot about that. I can do these programmatically, if that's a word. Input field dot text equals game settings dot get current setting for, okay, but we're not yet feeding that in, so we do need to feed that into all of these, not only here but here as well. And then we want to be getting that setting, and that's going to give us a float, and it doesn't automatically know how to put that to a string for some reason. Likewise down here, we want to do slider dot value equals game settings dot get current setting for the setting we've passed in. That is a float, should work fine. Likewise with the switch. No, these need to be set up manually actually, so we don't want that passed in there. So these guys all now need to be saying game settings UI scale, game set, probably had it for me there, game settings dot gamma, game settings dot crosshair transparency, shadow distance, weather intensity, grass density, grass distance, jitter spread, stationary blending, motion blending, sharpness, just a few more. MB shutter angle, that's motion blur. MB sample count. Post exposure. Saturation multiplier. Bloom intensity. And bloom diffusion. And we've got a red line up here. What's going on? Nope, I think that is just bug. And we've got a red line down here somewhere. What's going on? What's the matter with you? Game settings, setting. There's already a setting being used somewhere. What's going on? Optional parameters must appear. Oh, I've got optionals there. That won't work. Which means those are now all in the way. I think those are not optional though, to be honest. Yeah, everybody's using those. They don't need to be optional. That should fix that. And then toggles, we already determined are being put on properly. Input floats are also as well being put in. We don't want to change them after we've set up the delegates because that will trigger their change is. And then we did find that one of these wasn't working. It was what? Cloud quality looked like it was not working. Cloud, let's see, cloud left, cloud right. Yep, there's no updates being made there. So let's just real quick copy that down here. Let's put it underneath these two. Just say void update cloud quality like that. And all we have to do is call it. And that should actually fix most of the stuff that we were looking at a moment ago. A little sidetracked there, but yeah, it was thrown an error, so good to fix it. Still allergy. Can't just be nice out. It is very nice out though. Hope it warms up. It's pretty warm. I think I'm going to turn my heater off. Probably don't need it. No errors yet. There it goes. All right. So we can see the weather is quite strange. Every 5 seconds it's going to make a big jump. Let's go ahead and set the time to something more like noonish. And let's make sure that we are using the weather. Current weather is not correct. We don't actually even have that plugged in here, do we? We need to toss it into here as well. And I don't think I have it named. Let's call it what it is. And we should be able to say current weather equals, no? Okay, we might have to do that before it initializes. Eventually, we're just going to get rid of all of these and only have the one. But for now, we will plug it in with the rest. I think that will work. And when it starts up, it should recognize that. Consider it one of its own. Unless there's somewhere else I need to stick it. I don't think so, though. Nighttime has come again. I'm going to switch it back to noon and save it so it stops doing that. Okay. Should be in the system now. Let's just make sure we switch to it. Don't need you open, don't need you open. Current weather, core weather. Okay, so there we can see sharp change. Should be every 5 seconds. You know, and honestly, I don't think that there's going to be any setting that's really weird. It's just kind of the darkness of the clouds, their coverage settings. Some of these things. But we do definitely want to do sort of more manual control over those. See how it got really dark there? So you do want it darker when it's rainy. Even if it's not full coverage rainy. See, like this. Those still look like rain clouds. So I think a good way to go about this, rather than just having min-max stuff, would be to determine certain types of weather, which is kind of similar to what we've got going on. So say, for example, we've got our settings for when we're stormy. Can't see my fingers, huh? We've got our settings for when we're clear. We've got our settings for when we're cloudy. I think we can just bounce in between those three. I could add fog into there, but I'm not sure that. Let's see. So we've got, let's say, 1, clear skies, 2, cloudy skies, 3, storm clouds. You know, and rain clouds would be like a in between, not all the way to storm clouds. So they would still show up a lot, because it'd be rare to get all the way to like max storm. And I think fog is going to be a variable within these. So that's not one of our presets. These are our presets. Now within that, we're going to have a set of variables. That's going to be, I'm not actually going to do temperature. When I first built this system years ago, temperature was based on wind and wetness. We're not actually going to take it that extreme though. We've got very clearly defined temperature zones in Solace Crafting. So let's say we've got wind, we've got rain, we've got clouds, let's say cloud coverage, we've got cloud color, and I think that is most of it. So these variables are going to be different for each of these presets. So let's say, but we don't actually want to pick a preset. We want to give it like a percentage. There's just so many different ways to go about this. We could pick a random percentage, give it all to clear skies, take another random percentage of the remaining percentage, give it to cloudy, give the remaining to storm. We probably want to bias towards clear sky a bit. Or we could just bounce through these variables. Again, this is supposed to be biome based, so we could do like an offset for the biomes. Have the maximum cloud coverage of the desert be like 20%. So 80% of the time there wouldn't be clouds, for example, whereas the swamp would be minus 40%. So 60% of the time you would have clouds all the time. Things like that. Let's think about the system. So we're going to biome percentage inputs come in. I'm going to sneeze, maybe not. Biome percent inputs come in, and then we want to shift weather variables to match the biome percentages. Maybe it is just a range of clear to storm. And based on the biome we're in, our point on this scale gets shifted. And again, you can have clouds without necessarily having rain. I'm thinking these variables are really all we want to work with. For example, over here I've got, this is actually the same deal. I don't really want to call this get biomes method more than I have to. It's not difficult, it's just grabbing from some stuff, but since we've already got it in our player lighting, let's actually make that accessible for the weather manager to use. So let's do a public one of these. Let's call it current biomes. And so whenever this guy grabs it, he'll keep it as is, even after he's done using it, and the weather manager can just make use of that. So I don't have a reference of that yet, do I? Solace's is out of order there. This is just added on here the other day, so I haven't set it up to be accessible yet for other scripts, which is now becoming necessary. He doesn't actually use a setup, he uses start, so we don't need to call the rest of this stuff. It is going to be on spawned multiplayers, so in the event that we are spawning on a non-local player, we want to just not do any of this ever, like we're doing here. And yeah, if the application is batch mode or game settings.fake batch mode 2, we don't want to be using that either. Okay, player client now has that accessible for us, so we can grab player lighting and get his current biomes. Rather than request a recreation of this, we'll use whatever the current stuff the player lighting is holding on to. And similar to how it is doing, I'm going to switch between this stuff. So if it's null, we'll just figure out we probably need to wait a frame or whatever. We'll get it the next time, not a big deal. In this case, we're going to be using wind. We're going to be doing cloud coverage. We're going to be doing cloud, let's say darkness, and let's say rain. So these are our current biomes, we don't have it set up to work with world encounters yet, like floating islands. But, so this is going to be, these are going to be multipliers. So for example, let's just bring them all in here. Cloud coverage, cloud darkness, and rain. So for in the grass biome, wind multiplier, let's just say that's at, could be maybe not full power, you know, like maybe the ocean and the mountain is capable of getting more wind than the grasslands is. So it's only capable of going up to, say, 75. Let's say cloud coverage is capable of going, yeah, similar. I think maybe not as severe as the ocean. Cloud darkness, probably. Rain. Do get good rain in the grasslands, but it's usually not that harsh again. So let's say 50 for that. So after we've grabbed those numbers, and again, these are going to be multipliers, so let's go ahead and name them that. And let's say we've generated our base wind, cloud, and rain numbers somehow. Probably prior to that, after it, doesn't matter. Well, let's say, so here we're getting determine biome multipliers. Let's say up here we went to determine weather pattern. Let's say base weather pattern. So we want to grab I think first and most important is going to be our cloud coverage. Heyo, White Dragon, what's happening? So for now, let's just say random.range 0 to 1f. And yeah, we'll just consider that full power. And we're going to kind of do the same thing, but I think I need a little bit of logic on these guys. Rain and wind. So let's say we've got cloud coverage picked from 0 to 100%. I appreciate the views on Twitch, by the way. I need to get, I think it's like an average of 3 viewers over all time. Or I think it's actually calculated per month. But to become an affiliate, I've met all the other requirements, but I still need, usually only have like 4 or 5 viewers, and usually half of them are on YouTube, so it doesn't count for Twitch. But it's not a big deal. Just would unlock some fun features. So say we've got 0 to 100% cloud coverage determined. Don't really want to have like 10% cloud coverage, but then have it be super dark. But I guess that's not a big deal. We can leave that alone right now. So let's move on to rain though, because we can't have rain if we don't have clouds. That's just silly. More people on Twitch, preferably. And, you know, I could make my own account on my phone and turn it on, and this and that is a suggested way to do it, but it's not a big deal. Maybe someday I'll call my family and get everybody to watch all one day, and we'll get 10 viewers, and it'll skyrocket me into affiliate or whatever, but again, it's not a big deal. So, do we just want to offset the rain value, or what? Let's say if, definitely going to need some logic. If cloud coverage is less than, but you can actually, it does rain sometimes when there's not a lot of clouds, but let's say, you know, if cloud coverage is less than 0.25, or cloud darkness is less than 0.25, and I guess actually we'll do greater than. So only if it's actually more than 25% cloud coverage and more than 25% cloud darkness, only then are we allowed to get some rain. And we can just random roll that for now. Wind isn't necessarily bound on anything like that. You can have wind without clouds, you can have wind without rain. I'll just leave that as now, and this is all just nice and simple for now. Like I say, we can mess with this all much more complicated when we want to. So then after we've determined our base weather pattern, we've determined our biome multipliers, we want to apply our multipliers to the base weather. So now we want to do cloud coverage equals, let's do math function clamp 0, 1. Well, and actually I do want to do, first of all, cloud coverage multiplier. PC guy, thank you for the follow. Cloud coverage multiplier. I want to, how do I do this? I just divide by the total strength, right? Yeah, I think I just divide equal total strength. So the biomes don't necessarily add up to 1. Right? So we might have like 60% grass and 50% desert, or something like that. So you're actually at 110%. So this will just move that back down to be more like 100%. Cloud darkness multiplier, likewise. We'll do the same thing. Rain multiplier, we'll do the same thing. And wind multiplier, we'll do the same thing. And now that we've got those normalized, cloud coverage is going to be, we only want it to be 0 to 1, so we don't want it to go too high or too low. That's what clamp will do. But we want to do cloud coverage, so itself times our cloud coverage multiplier, like this. And we'll do that for all of them. Cloud darkness, rain, and wind. Cloud darkness multiplier, rain multiplier, and wind multiplier. And we can finish setting these up. Bit arbitrary at the moment. Thank you. I don't even know. It gives me a viewer count in the streaming software I'm using, but I think it counts YouTube and stuff. I don't really know how it works, but nothing new there. I don't know how a lot of stuff works. So in the Badlands, which is the desert, we want to have cloud coverage be at more. Well, I'm using a multiplier. Yeah, that's good though, I think. Let's say, 30% for these guys. Yeah, something like that, I think. Mountain, on the other hand, I think this can go up a little bit. Cloud darkness, rain multiplier. Put it at 75, 85. Swamp is going to be a 1, and a 1, and a 1. And I think this will be less. I think more like a 5.5. Ocean, however, is going to be a whole bunch of 1s, I think. Because you can get crazy weather out at sea. So, if we're in the ocean, things can get out of control. If we're in the desert, less likely. Wind still might pick up. We could actually turn this up too, I think. And the mountains are also kind of rough, perhaps. We can consider that's what this is trying to do anyway. So now we've got these numbers based on our roles, and they're based on our biomes. So we want to set this stuff up to be using those 4 variables. So now what gets set using what? Let's actually not use U. I'll leave you guys as R, and I'm going to use these guys. Let's actually copy out a new set of them. I'm going to get rid of this. So this is our max value. This is cloud light intensity. So this, let's say, is cloud darkness times, and I want all of these to be floats. We can use our little cheat again. Just to make sure that these don't round, which integers can do when you multiply by integers. Thank you, by the way, White Dragon. I don't think I said that out loud. There are some more viewers coming on board. Thank you for that. So yeah, let's go ahead and find all the color related. Ambient sky color intensity. I don't think that's really what, like this might be reverse, right? But we'll look at that later. So this is cloud color, definitely. Light absorption. I might want to look at some of these, like say, light absorption. I think that's what makes it black. Some of these are going to make it brighter. Some of these are going to make it darker. So I actually want to invert some of these, I believe. This is going to be cloud coverage. And I'm not too sure about these either. Erosion. This is coverage. Coverage type, cloud type. Coverage density. I believe this is cloud darkness. Kind of a weird sound. Cloud darkness, cloud darkness. Again, I think these are probably going to be inverted. But we can play with that manually, see how it looks. Particle layer 1 alpha. I think this is going to be inverted too, but that is coverage. Alpha cutoff, I'm assuming. So if we go all the way to 1, we're going to have less clouds. So again, we probably want to invert that. But let's just plug them in like this for now and do some testing. Brightness and color power, that's going to be cloud darkness. Okay, so we're going to mess with that a little bit, but more or less this is the kind of stuff we want to be doing. Now to mess with the rain, weather preset dot, I believe it is, what is it called? Effect systems dot, is it just a, it's just a array of them, isn't it? Let's see, I'm still paused, so it's not gonna recompile, which is nice. Seasons, no. General sky and weather. Particle effects, can't do that in runtime. I think that is what we need to be working with, though. Okay, so I'm gonna have to stop, and it's gonna compile. That's all right. So, for example, the light rain preset would have light rain, and it's just got position and rotation. Maximum wetness 0.5. Maximum wetness 1. I don't think that's actually what's used to set the rain, though, so I might want to be doing that manually. These are particle effect systems that follow the player. Let's go ahead and, in our start method, let's get a list of those. Effects holder. Where are they? There's a lot to be learned in Enviro, and I'm not sure where it actually stores all of the things. Components might be what I'm looking for. Pretty sure it is that effects holder, but it's just a game object. So let's see. 4. Let's do a loop through that, see what it's got. Int I equals 0, I equals less than transform child count I plus plus. I would like to see debug.log. Let's get the index that it's at, and then let's find out what its child name is. Get child I and give me his name. So we're going to have 3 types of rain, I believe. We're going to have light rain, medium rain, and storm rain. Yeah, I think it is smart like that. White dragon. What was your name in Discord? I forget. Anyway, trying to remember. But yeah, I think it does have some smart stuff like that where it doesn't count it if you mute it. I think is one of the things. I seem to remember hearing that. So we should see the clouds fluctuating based on the fact that I'm in the grasslands now, even though we've still got them set to change every 5 seconds and super rapidly. And let's see, we should have gotten a print out of our VFX. Okay, that's actually, I think, what we wanted. Where are they? Enviro effects, VFX. And then we've got light rain. Light rain, heavy rain, and storm is what I'm looking at here. Yeah, it's gone down by 1 right now. It's at 3 for me right now is what I'm looking at. I don't know, honestly, if that's the correct two for Twitch, it says here. Yeah, I'm not too sure. I've got my streaming software here that I use, and it says 3, but I get to see, like I say, there's Facebook, there's YouTube, and Twitch. So I'm not really sure how it figures out this number there, but it's not a big deal. Like I say, I need what is it? Creator dashboard, maybe? achievements. There we go. Path to affiliate. So this is this unlocks like the first tier of Twitch stuff, to where people can actually tip you and use emojis and all that kind of stuff. And it's 30-day performance, and I need to get an average of 3 viewers. And usually I've only got, and this is just for Twitch, so it doesn't count for YouTube. And then partner would be average of 75 viewers. So that's a pretty big jump there, but this is like you know, these are big streamer people. But yeah, it's not a big deal. It's just would be nice. I appreciate it. It is nice of you to even attempt. I've got the tip button up here now. I haven't been advertising it at all, I don't think, but I do have some stuff set up through the streamer software that I'm using called Streamlabs, and you can use PayPal or credit cards to tip. I know it's a big thing on Twitch. People are big into sending the cheers. Some people are anyway. It's kind of a mystery to me, honestly. But long story short, we can grab. I'm not sure the visual effects are set up yet at this moment, but if they aren't, we can make it wait a frame or two if we need to. Basically what I want to do is grab these guys. There's the actual particle system itself. Now, I'm not real sure okay, and so see it's managing these itself. So it's currently at 0 because it's not raining. The difference in the numbers here for light rain and medium rain, I don't think are any different though. Color over lifetime, size, collision. Don't think these are going to be any different. Shape is the same as well. I would assume storm is different though. I would assume. But no, it doesn't look like it. Looks like start size is different. Okay. Medium rain is bigger than both, so that's probably just fluke, honestly. So I think I can just grab any one of those and just make use of it. So I'm just going to grab, and they've got sub-emitters, rain splash, and rain splash. Okay. I'm just going to grab the light rain. So he is at 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I actually want to do, let's see, transform. How do I want to do this? I don't need the for loop. I just want to get the particle system. I actually want to have it up here. Particle system, rain system equals null. And then I'm going to assign it down here. Rain system equals enviro sky instance effects holder dot get we need to go to the transform dot get child. Actually, let's just go by name. How about transform dot find, And we can just do VFX gets / light rain with a space, and then light rain HQ clone. Parentheses capital C dot get component particle system. That should give us the rain system. Now, if rain system is equal to null, well, actually that'll error. If it doesn't work, I'm going to just put it in a try catch. So it doesn't break anything, but it will show me an error. Let's do system.exception E. And just give that a try, see if I can find it. And then wind would be another thing. Not sure where the wind gets stored. In Unity, wind is just a global object. I do have some other stuff though that I need to look into a little bit. I'm using what are called a lot of the trees that I've replaced. They used to be speed trees, which I just really don't like. These are actually still speed trees here. They're really thick, and their billboards are really blotchy and ugly. They're really dark. I've replaced them with, there's a company by the name of Nature Manufacturer that makes really pretty trees. But they use shader-based wind. So it doesn't actually use the Unity's built-in wind system. So I'm not sure how those two are going to work together quite yet. And is the color going to shift here all of a sudden again in like a few seconds? Or is that stopped? Okay, that looks like it's not doing that anymore. I had like a weird color grading thing where the color was shifting all funky. Anyway, our fog's at 0, which is bad. We haven't gotten to fog yet. It looks like we were able to grab our particle system all right, though. Let's take a peek at our managers. We're looking at the weather manager. If I go into debug, hung pretty bad there. That's weird. Does not like me looking at this, but it does have the rain system there, so that's working. So now we can start to work with this. Yeah, new trees, lots of new plants that are really just clutter. I've changed the colors a lot. Things are a lot more brighter, a lot more vibrant. So there's a lot less kind of this just flat, desaturated coloring. It's a lot more vibrant now. Looks a lot better. Yeah. Still working on mountains and desert a bit. I definitely want to add more clutter. I'm kind of still working on everything, but the grasslands are pretty much done. Looking a lot better. Big rocks, big mossy rocks that look really nice. So, rain system is working. I'll go ahead and just leave the try catch there anyway. If it, yeah, this is gonna get called in like frame 2 or 3. So it should always be there. I think we're fine with that, but just in case, we'll leave that there because that would cause problems. If this errored as this is called by someone else. It's not running on its own. So now we've got our rain system. So we can do rain system dot emission rate. That's deprecated, right? Yeah. So we need to do particle system emission module. Rain emission, and I don't actually want to be getting this every time I need to change it. If that's the case for this, I'll store it later. But for now, let's just do rain emission dot rate equals, and let's say rain times, how about 2500? So for it full rain, it's going to go up to 2500. I'm going to go ahead and store this up here. And I'm actually going to make a serialized field for our rain emission. Let's do rain emission rate. So we've got that set up to this. Doesn't want me to set that as null. Non-nullable type. It's a struct. Okay. I'll just leave it as is then. And you only need to be called once after we get it. If it's a struct, that's not going to work. That's going to pass a copy of it to me. So I take that back. I do want that guy though. Structs cannot be passed as objects, so we need to set this and put it back somehow. Rain system dot, this is just a get. Do I have to do a set? I forget how you do this. I've done it before. Where do I do this? Particle systems. Let's do a quick find. See if I can't see myself doing that somewhere. Enchants. Get component. Get it. I don't think that's correct. Well, let's go to Google. Google knows what he's talking about. Give me an example. Oh, well, this guy's just confused the same way that I am. But apparently it just works. There's some marshalling magic performed by the Unity C++ wrapper that is somehow handling it properly. It's unintuitive and goes against how C# should work, but I guess it does work. So throw your textbook out the window. That's weird. Let's try it though. I guess it's just supposed to work. So I'm changing the rain there, and we've set up the emission rate, so we actually want to be using that. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this stuff because it's just taking up space. I don't think anybody uses that guy. I might want to leave him in there. Let's do a quick peek, see if someone does. Yeah, it's not actually used, but it does exist. So we'll leave him in there. Get rid of some of this clutter. We're not down here yet, so... But yeah, we can go ahead and get rid of this. We're not going to use it anymore. Not going to use this either, but it's still being saved with the player, so we need to leave it there for now. So this is going to be our rain emission rate. So we can turn that up if we need to. Start that compiling. And I don't think that this... should work like I said, but on the forums they're saying it does. So rain emission, did I call it module? And we only need to call it once after we grab it. Spelled it wrong there. Emission module. No, you didn't get to punch any kids, Art? That's no fun. Rate over time. Rate over distance. Those are curves. That's not what I want. I just want the rate. Get bursts. Set bursts. I just want the rate. Why is the rate deprecated? That should be acceptable. Method group is obsolete. Rate over time dot constant. I do remember messing with this stuff once before. Do I have to feed it back in? I do, don't I? Okay, that should work. Let's try it out. No, I have not looked at your links yet. I'm sorry. Art sent me a set of links from the Unity Asset Store. Looks like I didn't actually even download it. I'm just looking at the grass and the ground don't look like they fit their colors very well. I wonder if that isn't due to the ambient lighting that I'm no longer messing with properly. But anyway, so can we see if our rain is now emitting? Does not look like it is. Constant, rate over time, 0. Manager, what are you doing? Oh, it doesn't like when I do that, but it does have access to it. Like I say, I don't think that I can do this. I don't think that that is acceptable. It's clearly not working at the moment, so rain emission module equals rain system dot emission rate. No, emission. That's a get. That's a get. Rate over time. Constant is set to constant. We're setting it rain times rate emission rate. Rain emission module rate. We're feeding it back in. Particle system, emission module. Grab it from the system. Get the curve. Change the curve. Put it back. It should be what we're doing. I think I just can't depend on that struct reference grabbed from the beginning. Whatever C++ magic they've got going on doesn't last over the frames like that. One of the things, too, that this will open up, since I'm adding such direct control over the weather like this, is I think that we could add some items that you can craft to make it rain. I think that would be fun. Maybe not super easy to craft, but have like something you can toss that makes the sun slowly come out, or makes the rain slowly come out, for example. Still not seeing it rain, though. Yeah, I know some people would like it if you had a big set of crops set up and you could just summon the rain. They'd rain everything for you, or water everything for you. Oh, it is changing. Let's see. I think probably Enviro is changing this itself. So it's interrupting my rain because it thinks that I shouldn't be using it. Let's see here. Can we add? Let's go find the light rain. Where is he? Light rain, I want you to exist in here as well. And how are you set up here? Really hate how it collapses this every time. Minus 90, minus 180. That sounds weird. Minus 90, minus 180. Okay, so I have rain. There's no... Wonder if I'm supposed to be setting this somewhere else for the actual emission rate. Because these guys are set up to not emit... Oh, he is set up. Rate over time, 3000. So they start out with a maximum value. Okay, let's, other than that, they're the same. Let's set it to be 6,000. So we're actually going to want to use our own. Let's go ahead and just stick the storm rain in there. He's the same, right? So he's got the highest maximum emission. And I think Enviro is going to read that in for this weather type on load. And it's going to consider that the max. And then I don't think it's actually the weather setting that is setting the rain, though. I think it must be whoops, hold on, I'm still grabbing the still grabbing the light rain, which I don't want to use anymore. Don't think I want to use. I think I can grab it out of the preset. What happens if I go like this? With a preset dot effects systems, which is a list, I believe. So number 0. I want to grab the prefab dot get component particle system. And actually I think that's a get component in child. The prefab itself had the rain as a child of it. So this is now going to be our rain system like this. We'll grab the particle system off of the child, which we've added, that is actually the storm rain now. Enviro should recognize this weather preset as able to use that. And so if we go in and we change it, I don't think it's going to interrupt it anymore. I think it was trying to just fade it away because it considered that to not be the weather that we were currently in. So now, since we're always in this Cora weather, it won't try to automatically turn that off. If it's still doing that, that means that we need to set up the rain rate somewhere within Enviro itself, I think. Well, so maybe it's minimized or something like that. I don't know. I thought that, oh, there's some rain. It did go away pretty quick, though. Let's take a peek. Clear skies, no rain. This updates every 5 seconds. Still no rain. I did see rain for a second. It's not this guy, is it? I'm not grabbing him anymore. Should be this storm. I guess we can peek at the manager. He should show us, and I'm going to want to pause to do that. Storm HQ is being grabbed properly. Don't see his emission rates going up, though. So it's probably actually controlled somewhere inside the enviro stuff itself, like the weather, current weather, current zone. I want to say that it's here, but not seeing a specific setting for rain. So if I just turn this up myself, it turns off right away. Very quickly anyway. Well, I might have to do a search for this as well. Not helpful. This dude's actually cool. I just talked to him yesterday. He's got his own Discord where he helps people out, because this is a super widely used weather system as far as Unity goes. Preset base, normally you would create different presets, different particle effects. For example, multiple rain presets with different intensity, emission rates, sounds, and so on. Then you switch to another preset and environment will smoothly fade into the new one. So why is it going to 0? Because Cora has a storm system, but it gets put down to 0 for some reason. Now outside of runtime, he is now still at 0. I thought he was 7,000. Maybe I shouldn't be messing with this directly, or maybe I need to make my own rain and stop messing with this guy. How about we remove that? I've actually already got one here because that's how I used to do it. I believe this is the exact same, so let's use this one instead. Turn him on, save it. He's called Rain underneath the player. Client.transform.find a child named Rain. Get his component, particle system. I want to make sure, well, let's turn him on and off down here. Let's say if rain is less than or equal to 0, rain system dot enabled dot active dot set, I guess just get the game object dot set active to false. Otherwise, you can turn him on to true and grab him and set his rain up. The max is actually going to be 7,000 now. And I'm not going to serialize that anymore. And I think this will achieve what we're looking for. I've also got a snow on the player. So we'll just stop letting Enviro handle that stuff itself, and we'll handle it manually on our own. And that'll make it even easier for making those rain dance items as well. Maybe you have to do a dance. That could be fun. You have to build a dance platform and do a little disco to make it rain. I wouldn't be against that. And it is raining. So let me take a peek at, turn the rain on, turned it off, depending on the weather we roll. It has turned back on at 3,300. Now it's down to 2,000. It's turned back off. Is it just not getting enough time to really build up here, or what's going on there? It's definitely rained for a minute. Rate over time. I'm going to turn this guy off for a second. And I'm going to turn him back on. So I'm only at... Yeah, it's just a little bit of rain going on right now. If I turn it all the way up to our 7,000... Oh, that's weird. This is the... what's it called? The anti-aliasing is like getting rid of the rain somehow. How do I stop that? That would be the camera anti-aliasing here. Where is it here? If I turn that off, the rain suddenly becomes quite apparent. If I turn it back on, the graphics look better, but I can't see the rain at all. That's weird. Stationary blending is up too high, I guess. Kind of liked the stationary blending though. If you turn that way up, the trees jitter a lot less. But I'm just not well versed in what all of this stuff is actually supposed to be doing, or like what. See how the trees freak out? I don't know if you can see that at all. That does not look like an improvement in any way, shape, or form, though. Despite the fact that anti-aliasing, do I even need it? I don't know. Some people really think that you need that anti-aliasing to look good. I'm just really not a graphics guy. I don't see a huge major difference, or improvement, I should say, in that. See, they get this funky jitter that they get going that really bothers me. What it's supposed to be doing is getting rid of these, and I can actually zoom in on that, can't I? Let's zoom in. So if you see these sharp edges, that's because it's only calculating per pixel. Now if you turn anti-aliasing on, it looks at the pixels around it and blends stuff together. And the more I turn that up, you see the more it blends it so it all looks nice and smooth. That's the purpose of that. I don't know what this jitter spread, I don't like it. It just doesn't look good. But if I turn the stationary blending up too high, you can't even see the rain because it blends it all together with the background. And that's silly. If I turn it down too much, it's really just not much of a difference. See how it gets this kind of wobbly back and forth? I think I'm just going to turn it off, to be honest. I don't think that that adds to the quality of the graphics. It does smooth those edges out a little bit. But it does take up performance, and I don't think it's worth it. I don't know. I did add in the settings that you can actually mess with all of that stuff yourself. So the jitter spread, the whatever, all of this, I actually added in here, but I don't like it, to be honest. I mean, if you can't even see the rain, that's just not nice. So this is 7,000 rain. I don't think that that is enough for our max storm rain. But that's, well, yeah, it's, so we just need to set up audio. I don't even have my speakers on. I do have my speakers on. I'm going to be needing to manage that audio myself now based on the rain output. We're going to need lightning. I use my fingers all the time here, but you can't even see them. I've been slouching all day too. I should probably just move the camera down. So the rain's working anyway. We're still just doing our 5-second update. So it's churning on and off quite rapidly. If we let it go, but it does work. It is 25 meters above us, so it takes a minute to fall, I think, is really the big... There's no other rains going on here, are there? You're at 0. Oh, this guy's still on here. He's at 7,000. We need to... I thought I turned that off. Yeah, I've been on the forums for a while. I thought I removed that. Oops, guess not. Anyway, it's working. We're going to need to be managing audio. And we're going to need to focus on figuring out the colors for these clouds better. Like I say, some of these I'm pretty sure are actually inverse. So like color power is probably actually going to be making them brighter. So the more cloud darkness we have, we want to do like 1 minus cloud darkness. Direct light intensity, stuff like that. I want to just play with those and find out who's getting brighter versus who's getting darker. And audio. Again, I'm doing, oh, can you see my fingers now? I do that all the time. Hold my fingers up, but you can't even see them. Audio, cloud colors, wind, fixed cloud, dark versus light. Get audio management going on manually. Handle snow. Sometimes we've got snow instead of that. And fog. Manage fog. That's a big one. So once I get all of these done, like for example the floating islands, that's one of the things that I really want to work on, is getting a nice preset sort of weather. So when you're up there, it's always snowy, stormy, and you've got some fog. Because if it's sunny and you're up on those floating islands, it's just blinding because it's so white. And we could add, I've got some cool ice rocks to add up there and some things too, but I have never messed with the Aurora settings. There are actually Aurora settings. Let's take a peek at that. I was going to go to lunch, but I can stave my hunger for 20 minutes. I want to figure out which of these settings are light versus dark. So here we've got some clouds going. Let's wait till we get some better clouds. Well, no, we've got good clouds. Okay, so hold on. I'm going to pause the weather manager, and I'm going to start messing with this guy. So direct light intensity. That's just kind of gross if I turn it down, honestly. I don't think I really ever want that to go beneath 1. Let's say though 2 is definitely brighter than 1. So let's do 1 to 2. 2 is bright. Less than 1 is 2 flat. And I'll try that again here in a second. When I've got darker clouds, see if that makes it. Here we go. Ambient color intensity. So that's how you make those really dark clouds. This is the main one that we're talking about for those rain clouds. Now in this case, when I turn direct light intensity down, there we go. See, now that's still, I don't want to go that far. Maybe 0.5 minimum. Those are menacing. And we also want to be managing cloud color too, or sky color in these events. I think that's actually probably flat cloud coverage that we want in these cases. Let me see. I don't actually see any flat clouds. Do I not have flat clouds turned on? What's going on here? Hold on a sec. Let me write this down as I go. Hold on. Let's do 0.5. Less than 0.5 is too flat. Yeah. This is 0 is dark. Powder term intensity, that's even darker. Light absorption. Okay, so this one is actually 0, or right is darker. Light absorption, left is bright, right is dark. This is left is dark. Left is dark, left is bright. Left is dark. Left is dark. Where is those Aurora settings? Aurora intensity. I don't think I have Aurora's turned on though, or something maybe. Let's take a peek. I've never messed with this. I don't know how it works. But something else that's important here is general weather sky mod. So you can see it's getting darker and darker and darker. So that'll make the sky flat black. Can I get rid of these? I don't think I can. You have to have at least... No, I can. Okay, so I can have just one color. So the rainier we get, the more we can churn this towards black. I think the location matters here if I only have one. And he is solid black. Seems to be really different. This almost does nothing. This almost does nothing. Then all of a sudden it goes all black. But anyway, we do want to mess with that. Definitely. For our rain weather sky mod. Fix cloud, dark light, handle sky color, weather sky mod, weather light mod. Let's see what this does. That's actually going to change the color of the sun, I believe. Let's make it something weird. Yeah, so the sun, we can change the color of the sun with that. Which we don't necessarily want to do. Volume light intensity. I don't think I use volume lights. Shadow intensity. That's useful. Actually want to turn that down. I don't see a difference coming up there actually. Oh no, yeah, that's very noticeable. Oh, and this is where the wind is. Okay, so let's see if our wind changes this stuff. Trees are swaying a bit. These guys are swaying a bit. Crank it up. And I don't think anything changed. So yeah, we're going to have to manage that elsewhere. I can turn lightning storm on. No? Anyway, I think that that is the majority of it. You saw the floating islands there have that white fog on them. If you don't match the fog color to the sky color or the cloud color, it ends up looking really weird. So still a bit to do here. The main thing though is to not be rolling this every 5 seconds. How about I actually make myself a button like this. So I'm going to do bool change weather equals false, and during update, I guess we can just do it right here. If change weather so basically in the Unity editor, if I click this to be true, it'll instantly change the weather for me. Otherwise, we're going to let it run on its own little timer here, and it's going to wait at least 5 minutes to roll for the next weather. So that's going to be 300 seconds. Up to 15 minutes, so 900 seconds. Does that sound fair? And I'm really bad at math, so let's, that's 15 minutes, right? Okay. Weather update timer, so we'll have 5 to 15 minutes of whatever the current weather that rolled came out to be. But we do also want that to be changing along with our biome transitioning. But I guess that doesn't really matter. So I think we want to separate these. Let's see. So weather we want here. Let's call this update current, or how about update base weather. And then we're going to have a different one called update biome multipliers. And that's actually where this guy comes in. So we actually want to make these guys have a wider scope to be more accessible by everybody. These 4. So we're not going to be declaring them here. They're declared above and now used in multiple locations. So this is our update base weather. This is what will actually roll for our numbers for our base weather. This is where we update the biome multipliers, and we actually want to have a third method down here where we actually update the weather components. So we can call these differently now. So this one only gets updated when we tell it to or when our timer goes off. The biome multipliers, I'm going to call that once every, let's say, 60 frames. This is called a mondolo. it will divide this number by 60 and then give me the remainder. So only in the event that it is divisible by 60 will it produce a 0. So this will only call once every 60 frames. And then update weather components. This actually is just dependent on these guys and wants to be called at the same time, but I don't mind that I put those into a different method at all. Update weather components. So those will be actually called together, one after the other, but not bad to have them separated at all. What's up, Shark? Working on biome manipulated weather. So, for example, say we've rolled maximum cloud coverage, maximum darkness, maximum rain, maximum wind, but we are in the desert. That's still going to scale it down quite a bit. So we can test that out very simply. I'm going to re-roll until I get some stormy weather. And then I'm going to teleport to the desert. And we should find that it changes the weather to be much more desert-like. So even at maximum rain, it's changing like crazy right now. Didn't we? What did I do? Something weird's going on here. Weather's still changing constantly. Lightning's going off. That was my fault because I churned this on. I think that's all it was actually. Weather sky mod, we have just not messed with that yet. Anyway, so let's re-roll a few times. Okay, so we've got some rainy weather going on. No, it transitioned back for some reason there. I'm just going to click it a few times here until I get some nice clouds. There we go. Why is it shifting back? What's going on here? Oh, I bet I know what's going on. Yeah. It's actually applying this multiplier every 60 frames. So it's just getting less and less and less. That's not what we want. We need to be rolling new numbers for this. Or what? How do we do this? Let's say... Yeah, I was actually working on this earlier. Okay. Cloud coverage, cloud darkness, rain, wind. We actually want you guys to be current cloud coverage, current cloud darkness, current rain, and current wind. And then these are going to be target cloud coverage, target cloud darkness, target rain, and target wind. So just smacked my mic. base weather we want to be our target. I guess we probably actually need to be storing a base, a third base number as well, don't we? I believe. Let's actually do replace. Like that. So these guys are all going to be our base numbers. And the Biomap is going to determine the multipliers, and then it's going to set the target cloud coverage based on the base cloud coverage times the multiplier. See what I'm getting at here? So the base is what everything, the math is based off of, based on the weather that we rolled. The targets are determined based on that base number modified by whatever biome we're in. We then use those numbers a little bit different than this. So first thing we want to do here, I guess actually we could do it here. Let's say these are called one after another. So our current yeah, that's fair. Our current cloud coverage is going to now equal, I'm going to do a math function move towards, and we're going to start with whatever the current cloud coverage is. We're going to move towards the target cloud coverage, and we're going to use a maximum delta of time dot, let's see, I might want to be doing this in update. And that's fair. Yeah, I can work with that. Let's move this stuff to actually be updating every update. So this is actually just really basic math. It's not going to be performance intensive at all. So if I make this delta time, it will only be allowed to move however much time has passed since the last frame, which is usually like 0.02, something like that. Might actually want to even slow that down a bit, but we can change that freely. For example, we could make a float called weather transition speed, and I'll just put it at 1 for now. And so I will do this times transition speed. So if I change that down to like 0.1, it'll slow this down even further. We can check out and see how it acts. It is the 10th. It's already Wednesday here. I live in the future. If only I could read stocks a day earlier or something like that. Update weather components. Okay, so this is just cloud coverage. We want the other 4 as well. Current cloud darkness. current wind and current rain. This is going to be here, here, here. Total cloud darkness. Total wind, what is it? Target wind. And target rain. Starting to get hungry, brain slowing down. So this stuff is now not going to be using cloud darkness, but current cloud darkness, right? Current, okay. So we want to change everyone that says cloud with a lowercase c to current with an uppercase C. Current cloud. And we don't need to look at the whole project, just this document, starting with that guy. Actually, we want a space as well. Whoops. Only if we've got a space, and I want to include the space. Current rain. Current rain. Okay, that should be better. Let's recompile that. So we're not applying the division. Or the multiplier repeatedly. We're updating the multiplier based on our current biome values, and then using the base number, which is unchanging, to determine our target. That should work better. I'm +8, I think. Japan is. +9. So yeah, it's like a 16-hour difference from the West Coast, I think it is. So I actually go 4 hours forward, but then a day behind, or something like that. Was it 8 hours forward? Yeah, 8 hours in front of me, but a day behind. Is easier than trying to subtract 16. So let's do change weather until we get rain again. And it should be transitioning nice and slow right now, because we put this to 1. Let's move it up to 100 temporarily. And I would like to see how these numbers are changing, if I can, without pissing it off. Doesn't like when I go into debug mode very much. Since we're not moving, shouldn't necessarily be changing terribly. Doesn't look like current is changing though. Base cloud coverage 0.3, target cloud coverage 0.0. Oh, there it changed all of a sudden. That was weird. Oh well, yeah. I'm doing it every 60 frames and I'm running like 1 frame a second right now because this debug mode does that. Alright, let's get out of U. And it did change almost instantaneously because I have this up to 100. So, anyway, we're raining. It's kind of cloudy. Let's go visit the desert. See what happens. I'm not sure where there is some desert. There we go, tier 4 desert. Now it'll take 60 frames to engage that change. And there it is. So the clouds toned down a bit. The rain Didn't really stop. I would have liked it if the rain stopped because I came to the desert. Let's see. Base rain is at 0.5. Current rain's at 0.2. Target rain. So yeah, let's see. Badlands rain multiplier 0.2. So we should expect it to be taking this 0.5 and multiplying it by like 0.2. But it's not quite getting there. Base rain 0.55 times target rain, or no, yeah, times 0.2. And this is very rarely like 100% desert. You know, the biomes are always blended together to some degree. Yeah, we're on the edge of a bunch of stuff here. Probably a little bit of swamp, probably a little bit of ocean, probably a little bit of, what is that, mountain? Still raining pretty hard though. I think I might want to actually do a full. It's 12:30 right now for me. Wednesday. Later art. Yeah. I don't have a math degree, let's just say that. I think what I want to do here is apply an offset after all. So not just a rain multiplier, which is not bad. But let's also do a rain offset. Now, for the grass, for the mountains, for the swamp, for the ocean, we don't really need any of that. For the Badlands, though, I think I'm going to add a rain offset plus equals minus. I mean, we're already doing times 0.2. But again, we rarely get to 100%. So say we're in 50% desert, the rain's at 100%, we've knocked it down to something like 50%. I still want to offset that by like, I think 0.3. So it should be pretty rare to see rain in the desert. And again, I kind of actually might even want to do a little extra in the swamp. Maybe only like 2.25. And then probably needs to be a little stronger than that, honestly. I don't want to make it impossible And again, we're talking about math, so it's like, I'm just kind of stabbing in the dark here. I could write up in Excel and go insane, but kind of don't really want to. Target rain, base rain times rain multiplier plus rain offset. So that should pretty drastically reduce the chance of rain in the Badlands and somewhat increase the chance of rain in the swamp. Everything else will be kind of normal. It'll be that random 0 to 100. But again, even if it's only like 10% rain, it's still raining, you know what I mean? I might want to set up a sort of like a min-max for that as well, so that rain needs to be at least 30% before it actually starts raining or something like that. If it's less than just too little, then we just turn it off. I think that would make sense too. Okay, there it shifted nicely for us. Nice evening. Those are really pretty actually. Nighttime. Didn't actually rain. I wanted it to rain. So let's random it again. And I'll turn... Actually, the transition speed is pretty high. We're probably going to want to turn that down to like 0.1 or something. Probably even less than that, honestly. Still no rain. Did I break the rain? Yeah, there's currently no location-based weather, and we could totally set that up too, which would not be hard. Just so that it calculates a, let's say, optional, add a location-based noise check. So if you are where you are and you stay relatively where you are, that's never going to change. But if you teleport further away, it'll mess with these base numbers based on your location. Could totally do that. Wouldn't be difficult. And would probably make sense, yeah. Right. It is, however, not an actual planet, so it's not so weird if it's raining in one mountain and then in another mountain. But I do want to keep it from raining a bunch in the desert is kind of really my main goal here. It looks like I have somehow killed the rain, though. Target rain is 0. Current rain is 0. Base rain. How did I get base rain to 0? That should be nearly impossible. Oh, well, the cloud coverage must be too low. Cloud darkness went too low. These look pretty dark, though. Maybe I don't need that. Well, and then some of my settings are backwards, so no, that's fine. We'll leave that alone for now. We'll do a re-roll here. That went too low again. Okay, that's better. Now, as soon as 60 frames pass, oops, go back to normal. We should find that, there we go, the rain has started. It still transitions really fast, though. I thought I slowed that down a ton. Weather transition speed, we're multiplying by it. I've got it set to 0, 1. So it should be moving towards the target quite slowly. Doesn't seem to be doing that though. Anyway. So once again, we've got a drizzle. It's just a light rain. Let's actually look at the numbers. So the base rain is 0.5. The current rain is still at 0.4. Target rain is 0.4. That doesn't sound right. Alright, this is getting a little silly. Let's serialize these guys so I can see them. Like if I built a really big slow noise grab, it would work fine. Noise is based just on dimensions of numbers. So if I put it in X and a Z, if your X goes 0 to 1,000 at 1 kilometer, I can just divide that by 1,000. So a kilometer actually only has a difference of 0 to 1. So the change in the noise will be very slow, but still present. So if you travel 10 kilometers via a teleport, it'll have a much more drastic effect on what happens. Okay, so base, cloud, and darkness are too low. There we go. There's a pretty high. It changed really quick. Again, I wish that this 0.01 was working more like I think it should. What did I... Yeah, these are floats. Should be fine. It's a little weird. But anyway, it was at 1 when I hit the... Well, let's hit it a few more times. See, that's more what I would expect. It moves slowly towards its target. Current range should be headed towards 0.15. There, it made it. There must be a fair amount of biomes blending in against me though, which I'm not going to be able to see on the player lighting, which is the new, it's actually on my player, new script that I just built here the other day. Yeah, it's not going to let me see those, or that's a dictionary, but the actual biome data would be nice to look at too. This white fog aura that shows up at night, that's one of the biggest things I want to fix. Let me turn the day time back a little here so we can get our sunshine. Just want to try and get a good rain roll. The rain roll was at 0.7 though. Okay, so hold on. Rain roll to 0.7, but the target rain is still rolling at 0.15. Now that suggests to me well, I did turn it down quite a bit in the grass, didn't I? I think that's fine at 0.75. You still would never expect it to actually get to that extreme very often. But I think this is also a little too much. So let's try this once more. And I do like that weather transition at about 0.1. Okay, one more try here, and I gotta get to lunch. I don't think it caught on. Oh, I didn't save it. There we go. Want to tone the rain down in the desert, but I do not want it to be so extreme that just getting near the desert kills the rain. I might need to modify that math a little bit better for the biome calculations, because the way that the the ground calculates, you can see there's this transition period between the biomes. This is actually really tiny. It's like 0.05 or something. But then the math used to determine the biome percentages, it actually doesn't round them up and down like these do. So even though you're over here, you're still going to have like 0.3 desert, because this desert biome is actually a lot bigger than that. You see this is the desert biome, but it's being overpowered by the grass and swamp strength. But when you actually look at the biome percentages at this point, it's still going to have a good amount of desert in it right here. So we actually, where we are, we do have desert in us, and I think that's what was affecting the rain. We've got mountain, desert, and grass at this starting location, where I've died of starvation like 20 times while I'm coding. Grass wins the fight, and so that's why we have grasslands here. But when I'm actually looking at the percentages for these calculations here, we aren't doing that extreme rounding. So we do still actually have a fair amount of desert and mountain in this area. So I turned the time back down. It's raining pretty good. It's super cloudy. Let's see. I want to peek at my timer. Timer. Still has 10 minutes. So we should not expect to see the weather update anytime soon. But let's go out to the desert again. And we should see target rain go from 0.5 down to something less than that. Target rain 0.3. Okay, so it's still going to be raining, but much less. Well, definitely needs a little bit of work. I think that this was actually pretty good at something like 0.5. And if current rain equals less than, I think, 0.3, something like that. So if it's just really wussy rain, we just don't even use it. We turn it off. Otherwise, we let it go. So we don't have these tiny little drizzles going on in the desert. Might want to even extreme these a little bit further. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of content to be added, but there's been a real push for sort of improving the quality of some of these things, like the visuals and the animation and the UI in particular, that I'm planning to spend most of this month on. In my opinion, that's kind of unfortunate. I very much prefer content and feature work, but in all honesty, I'm not making a lot of money and kind of need to make some money if I'm going to survive. So I need to spend some time on increasing the sort of presentation value of the game, which is the current goal. Base range 0. Target range 0.1, even though we're at 0.5. So I'm just too close to the desert here, I think. Yeah, I might have to extreme these. It would make sense for the lighting too. Alright, I think I'm gonna have to do that. Like I said, the get biome method here is not rounding it in the same way that it does for example, procedural area. Here it looks for the top biome and it goes off of that. That's for procedural area, that's for spawning. Top strength. Let's see, splat map, biomap. And where does it check the biome? Not world encounters. Strength and height. I need calories to get into this stuff. It's pretty complicated. I'm just trying to, I want to upgrade the contrast, basically. increase the contrast. So we don't have like 30% desert, 40% grass, 25% mountain. It should be more or less a single biome, you know, and there's those areas where you're blending through something. And like I was showing on the map, it does that. I just kind of don't quite remember where it does that. Procedural area script here is what is used to determine what spawns where. And it generates this biome map based on the terrain biome map, which has this biome strength built into it. And it uses that to make sure that it's not spawning swamp stuff in grasslands, for example. It's got all of them to begin with, so they're all possible. It goes through them for all the possible biomes, and it applies a strength. So the strength is already predetermined by the terrain biomap. And the terrain biomap himself, he is not changing it himself. He is just accepting it from the noise manager in this method. So again, we've got an array of biomes and then strength and height. And there's lots of math involved. Bad news. So the actual vector 2 itself is the strength and height values that we're looking for. So the first array is the biomes, the second jagged array is the location, and then the result is actually a vector 2, which has the strength and height, x being the strength that we're looking for. Let's look for some dot x's. This is actually chunk biomap. I want to be looking at terrain biomap. Strength divided by total priority. Strength being generated by the current location's biome priority based on its distance from the center, which is clamped to a certain amount to make sure it's stronger in the center than it is along the edges. I did write this all myself, but you really got to get in the zone and know what each of these steps is doing. It takes a minute to jump back into it. And I'm hungry. Total priority being, it goes through and it finds up to a maximum of 4 biomes at any given point. It adds their priority, which is just a roll that they make. And then bases it off of their distance up to a maximum of for just that blend. So assuming we're not blending, we've got overlapping grassland and desert. How does the terrain know to prioritize the grassland and not spawn desert stuff? Because of the priority. Let's see. I want to do a debug and get the specific numbers for some point in space. Let's just go ahead and say 0, 0. So I've determined my biome map. Let's say if terrain X is equal to 0 and terrain Z is equal to 0 and local area, local X I think it is equal to 0 and local Z is also equal to 0. So this is right the very middle start point. If we're at the direct 0, we want to debug log a loop through our biome map. Grabbing let's print out I, which is our index, and then biome map. This is a vector 2, right? So we want the X. No? What are we looking at? This is a float. Okay, no, we just want the 0, 0. Please? Right? No? What? Yeah, it's just the strength. We don't actually care about the height for the biome map itself. So we just want it to print out that, and let's see. I believe it goes ocean something or other. We know we can figure that out. Terrain biome map. Get terrain biome map. How does it organize those biomes? Here we go. 0 is ocean, desert, grass, mountain, swamp. So I'll leave that there. Let's move you over here so you don't close. So the area is going to give me that strength value that it's going to be using. And I think it's this 0.4 that I'm looking for, because there's, I'm just not seeing where that, it makes sure that there's at least a certain amount of a biome before it attempts to spawn anything. Terrain data pp spawning biome. Prepare spawn is going to attempt to find a location, but I don't think I have to go this far, do I? Spawn rate, location. It has to find at least the main strength or less than equal. So this is actually it here. It has to be the main biome, or it has to be within 5% of the main biome. So that's where the blending occurs. So that's really what I want to do to these. I just closed that. I probably shouldn't have done that because I don't actually need this anymore. Where did that go? That debug that I tossed in there. Where'd he go? There he is. Don't need this anymore. Found what I was looking for. You, sir, are gone. It's player lighting where I grab that. And it's the get biomes method, which he's the only one that uses that. So within this, it's actually this guy. Find all references. It's just the one guy. Now, basically, I want to find a maximum biome, find a perhaps secondary biome that we're blending into. It's possible to have multiple biomes, but basically I want to set one of them to 100% in most cases. So only in those blending areas do we actually allow other biomes to butt in here. So right now it's just flat adding them in as is in this order. What I kind of want to do is go through generate a new we're only working at one specific position here. So this is actually just a key and a float. So we can grab all of them. And then how about we cycle through here. Loop through our dictionary. Let's find the winner, chicken dinner. If pair.value is greater than winner, he becomes the new winner. And we're probably going to actually want to be storing the winner like this, actually. Let's set him to null by default. Winner strength. Pair.key, so we'll get the biome that's the winner and his strength. And we're actually going to want to loop through this a second time. It's only 5 loops. It's not a big deal. Once again, for all of these, if the pair.value, only if we are not, let's see, if pair.key does not equal the winner. So we're going to leave the winner alone. Actually, let's see. Yeah. Let's do an else. So if we are the winner, we actually want to set the pair.value to 1. No, we don't need to do that. This all gets divided against the total weight eventually, so that's not necessary. But we don't want to mess with the winner. So if we're not the winner, and our pair.value, so our non-winner strength is greater than or equal to winner strength minus 0.05. So we're within 5%. We're in that blending zone of the winner. Then we want to set our pair.key value. I guess actually no, in that case we can leave it alone. So if we are less than winner strength minus 0.5, meaning we're more than 5% wussier than the winner, we're actually going to set our value to 0. Why are you upset about that? Yeah, it's read only, I know. Alright. So we need to do something a little fancier because this is a dictionary. We need to set up a list of biomes to clear, and we're going to need to biomes to clear dot add our pair.key, so that will mark whoever was a loser to be cleared, and then we will go loop through that for int I equals biomes to clear dot count I plus plus. I equals 0, I equals less than the count I plus plus. Biomes of biomes to clear at position I equals 0. So this will clear out all of our non-blending, non-fancy guys, and that should result in much more severe biome lighting and weather results, which honestly is very much wanted. I think winner chicken dinner, don't they say that in what is it? Player Unknown Battlegrounds, which I have never once played. I don't have any interest in those kinds of games. But it's a huge hit, you know. I mean, that was a massive success. It's one of those big esports games. And I think whenever you win, it says that. Winner chicken dinner. I think I've watched a stream or two of that. I haven't decided on lunch. It's either going to be a pastrami sandwich with pickles and cheese that I'm going to toast in my fry pan, or garlic chicken pasta. So how to test this is kind of the thing. I really need to just have a debug each. Yeah, I'm going to go eat. Because it's already like 1:30 almost. Anyway, this should work a lot better. So it'll be much more severe changes for lighting. The only time it'll shift is when you're crossing these biome zone lines. So I think that'll work a lot better. Anyway, cats don't care if I eat or not. They sure as hell care if they got their food or not, though. It's hard to argue with garlic pasta, you know. But pastrami's not going to last as long as my garlic. I think I've probably got 4 types of garlic in the fridge. Anyway, stuff's moving in the right direction. Once I get this weather system sorted out, it's going to be back to working on animations. So we need to fix a few, mostly combat animations, swimming animations, jumping animation could use some work. Mostly combat animations though, getting them a lot more fluid, more interesting. And there's some decisions to be made with regards to combat, how to make it more fun. But we'll take it day by day, do things as we go. Thanks for stopping by. White Dragon, John, Art, Shark, everybody, Stopnut. Good to see you guys. Should be back in the morning, whatever time of day that may be for you. Votes on what? Always open to suggestions and votes. Yep. All right. Have a good one.